Hello and welcome to Old School Loops, where I'm going to be reviewing video game soundtracks of all kinds, but with a particular interest on the old stuff. So let's get started. Have you ever wanted to stab a monster in the face or collect triangles to save a princess? That's pretty much what Zelda lets you do. You get to go anywhere you want. And it was like one of the first games to let you really do that, especially in 1986. Zelda 1 came out on the original Nintendo Entertainment System, and it was kind of one of the first games to really have an RPG element to it. People say that Breath of the Wild ripped off Skyrim, but Skyrim is inspired all the way back to Zelda, so they kind of all just inspire each other. The original game was based on the concepts of medieval Europe and exploring forests and caves and lakes and all of the magical things you might find there. And your goal is pretty much to collect triangles. They call them the Triforce. I'm not really sure what they're made of. Energy, cardboard, who knows. These pieces to defeat Ganon, who's like a pig, to save Princess Zelda. And you play as Link. So you're Link into the video game world. You go around exploring the land of Hyrule and conquering dungeons and stabbing things in the face. And placing bombs right under their noses. It was an exciting game, and it resonates with a lot of people still to this day. The soundtrack was created by Koji Kondo, who is the same composer for Mario and a number of other games that we all know and love. Surprisingly though, the original theme was not going to be a work created by Koji Kondo. Instead, it was going to be a piece by Maurice Ravel called Bolero. It's kind of this rising, adventurous marching song, so it fits pretty perfectly actually. But because of copyright issues, I'm sure it didn't go through. And so instead we got the wondrous theme of Zelda that we all know and love today, which leads us right into our intro. This intro is 1.5 minutes long, which for our time now doesn't seem like a lot, but back then that was a lot of storage space, which meant instead of your regular 30-second, 40-second loop, you have 1.5 minutes right from the get-go, which tells me that they really wanted to make the game just seem freaking huge and open and vast and majestic. And I think it does a great job of that. It sounds lofty and distant and adventurous. This one's just a fantastic track. The overworld is pretty much the same theme, the same melody, but it's a little quicker, and it kind of gives you that vibe of going out on your journey and having combat with goblins and octopuses that shoot rocks at you. It's just a fantastic theme. And it's been used throughout other Zelda games since. But then you have the dungeon, which is a nightmarish theme. It makes you feel trapped, like you're trying to escape, but you can't get out. And you're sinking, and the arpeggios are just winding down, and you just do not want to be there any longer. I've heard that originally that this kind of idea of exploring dungeons came from Miyamoto getting lost in his house with all the sliding doors. It's kind of interesting. I personally like the sound of this dungeon theme, or as some call it, the labyrinth theme, which it's more like a maze than a labyrinth, but whatever. But I feel like the loop is a little too quick for me. I want it to be a little more expansive since you spend so much time in the dungeons, and so it gets a little old, but that kind of tension is there because of it repeating so quickly, so I can't complain too much, but I don't like it as much as some of the other tracks. Then you've got Death Mountain, which is tense and dangerous, and altogether spooky. A little unpredictable. It very easily conveys being in a dungeon underground next to a giant lavanous monster. Lavanous. Then you have the ending tune, which, it's like a show tune. I don't really know what... It doesn't sound like a Zelda ending theme to me, but I do like it, and I would dance to it. Overall, you have to love this soundtrack. I think any fan of Nintendo should go and listen to this outside of the game and just appreciate its 8-bit glory. Glory! I give this one a solid 4.5 out of 5. Not out of 10. That would be bad. Out of 5. Which is good. It is a great soundtrack. Next we have Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, which I'm not sure why it's called that because the first game was his Adventure 2, so I'm not sure how this one's different, but whatever. Not a whole lot going on here different in the plot. Basically, Zelda has been put to sleep by a curse, a sleeping spell, and this one came pretty quickly after, in 1987, and you're trying to find the number 3 Triforce piece to save her. This game was actually not composed by Koji Kondo, but was made by Akito Nakatsuka, the same guy who did Clu Clu Land, Excite Bike, and Balloon Fight. The biggest thing most people notice about this game is that it has a lot of side-scrolling sections in them, which is fine, but I don't think people really liked it as much because they were expecting the top-down thing. Everyone likes top-down. It was also very hard. But we're not here to review the game, we're here to review the soundtrack. The opening prologue sounds like just another adventure, and it's nice. It fits the title. Got these sparkly stars in the background and a giant sword. The Legend of Zelda 2. And there's even this little bit that has kind of... It fits the scrolling story talking about the spell being cast on Zelda where it gets kind of tense and magical. Thought that was cool. It's a good prologue. Then you have the overworld, which is charming, but I don't know that it flows quite as well as I'd like. Seems kind of... It's good, I like it, but I don't like it as much as the traditional Zelda theme. Then you got the village and the indoors themes. They're quaint and calm. The indoors theme's nice, but gets a little old if you spend too much time in there. I like these tracks. They suit the village well. Then you have the song of the game that I think everyone knows. Even people who haven't played Zelda 2 know this theme, if they're fans of Nintendo. And that's because it is the temple theme, or palace theme, that we all know and love from Smash Bros. Melee. That glorious giant level that wasn't too giant, looking at you level in Ultimate, that I forget the name, the really, really big one. Temple was the perfect size. But anyway, we're not talking about Smash Bros. Melee. This song is just the original. It's grand and open and sprawling and feels like the final end to your adventure. It just sounds like giant pillars and huge curtains to me. And I love this song, I just love it. Both the 8-bit version and the rearranged version in Smash Bros. Don't miss out on this 8-bit version. Then you got the boss theme. Not much here, it's pretty boring, honestly. Doesn't really do anything interesting for me. Then you have the Great Palace variation, which there's not a whole lot of difference. It's just kind of changes up the keys a little bit and has a different tone. And I think it could get kind of tiring if it didn't change the key. Then you have the first appearance of Dark Link, which was cool because you also face him in Melee. Unfortunately, he's accompanied by a pretty generic battle tune. Not a whole lot to that. I wanted it to be so cool. But nay. Then you have the ending, which is kind of a relieved kind of sound. And the staff roll, which kind of goes from sounding like royalty and like a procession to almost like a folk dance, which I like. I really enjoy that one. Altogether, this soundtrack is actually pretty solid, and I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I would. Especially because I totally forgot that that temple palace theme was in here. The soundtrack isn't quite as good as the original, but it's still pretty solid. Oh wait, I almost forgot, like, one of my favorite themes. I totally missed it. The battle theme. I think this is probably, aside from the temple/palace theme, this is probably my favorite theme. It kind of reminds me of Punch-Out a bit, or some kind of boxing game. And if you pay attention, you can also catch these two little clangs that sound like swords hitting each other, which, for a battle theme, that's just perfect. I like it. Overall, I would say that this soundtrack deserves a 4.1 out of 5. 4.1. 4.1. It's a great soundtrack, and I definitely would suggest you listen to it. Despite your feelings of the game, just go check it out. That's all for today. I'm curious what you think of these two soundtracks. Did you like them? Did you love them? Did you hate them? If you have any questions or requests, feel free to comment below. And if you want to see more soundtrack reviews, be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.